Welcome to Buff Zone. We're here with Ariana Freeman from the Colorado women's basketball team. We're going to talk about the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament, which comes up this week. And Ariana, you're obviously not playing this year as a transfer from Louisville. You're sitting out this season, but you've been a part of this team, and you've also been a part of tournaments like this. Last year, Louisville, did some pretty good things. Tell me what it's like as a player being a part of a tournament like this, and just kind of the feeling as you go into this event.
Oh, the energy is definitely crazy as soon as you walk into the gym. I mean, it's hard, but you have to forget everything that happened during the regular season. You go into these tournaments, and especially the conference tournament, having played both teams, all the teams twice, you go in there and you're like, okay, what's going to happen? I mean, it's March Madness, so everything's up in the air.
Is it truly, they always talk about a fresh start. Is it truly that? I mean, do you feel like when teams go into these tournaments that the last place teams feel like they're just as good as the first place teams in this event?
Oh, absolutely. It's completely a fresh start, and I think that's where some teams make the mistake, is saying, hey, we've blown this team out 2 times in a row. So you go in and a team will catch you slipping. It's definitely whoever shows up that day. So it's going in there and having to forget everything that happened during the regular season.
Well, that's a good segue to what we want to talk about next, which is the Buffaloes. They're a team probably more than anybody in this conference. They have to forget what's happened so far. The 29-game regular season did not go like CU wanted it to. They come in as the 12th seed. They will play number 5 Washington, not on its home floor, but in its home city. The Buffaloes kind of have to forget about what's happened, especially on Saturday, because they just got blown out by Washington.
Oh, absolutely. But looking ahead, obviously being a part of the team, we're excited for this matchup. We think Washington is great, and I think if we just take our time, stay calm against their strong zone, and, of course, stop Kelsey Plum, I think we definitely have a chance to win this one.
The one thing Colorado has done this year in the 2 matchups with Washington has stopped Kelsey Plum. You guys have done a good job on her, limited her points. She's one of the nation's leading scorers, but I don't even think she's had 20 against the Buffs. So you guys have done a good job with that. What does this team have to do on the other parts of Washington to try to slow them down and win this game?
Again, we just have to stay calm against our zone, stop Kelsey Plum, but offensively, we have to not be nervous. We have a young team, a couple freshmen that have to step up big. So I think if they just stay focused, not worry about the big crowd, the excitement of playing in front of all the cameras, and just stay calm and play their game, again, I think we have a chance at it.
Unfortunately, you don't get to go to Washington. The rules don't allow you to do that. But you're around this team this week, and this is a team. CU's won a game in this tournament every year, and last year they had the big upset of Oregon State. Are you sensing that there's a little bit of confidence going into this event just because they know what they've done in the past?
Oh, absolutely. Not only the past, but just the confidence in that, we're coming in there as underdogs, so we have nothing to lose. I mean, all the pressure is on the other team. And again, if they're lackadaisical, thinking, they can just blow us out like they have before, then, we're going to catch a slip up.
So let's look at the rest of the tournament. Colorado at number 12, not expected to win this thing. There are some teams that are expected to win this thing. And, the top teams, Oregon State's number 1, Arizona State number 2, UCLA 3, Stanford 4. Of that group, who do you like out of that group? Who would you say is the favorite?
Oh, I like Arizona State. I mean, they're not the most talented team. They're not the biggest team. They're not the strongest team. But they do get after it on defense. And defense wins games. They're like the little pests that just nick at you, and they're always there. They're always talking. They're so energetic. So I like Arizona State.
Yeah. They're annoying, aren't they?
They are.
But that's good. I mean, that sounds bad, but it's not really a bad thing when we're talking about this, because that's how they've won their games. Charlie Turner-Thorne's done a great job with that program. And, they just hit some clutch shots. Sophie Bruner's had a great season for them. And I like Arizona State as well. Oregon State, though, they're so talented. 3 great players in this conference. And I mean, those are the 3 that get all the accolades, but they're talented across the board, aren't they?
Absolutely, and they have the player of the year. So, of course, if the player of the year steps up and leads her team as an upperclassman should, and make sure that they stay calm and just get business done, then, of course, they're number 1, their favorite. Yeah,
that player of the year, Jamie Weisner. They also have the defensive player of the year, Ruth Hamlin. So they're talented. They're going to be going after this thing. Number 3 is UCLA. They're coming in with some confidence because they smacked Stanford a few weeks ago, and then they knocked down Arizona State. Last week, they prevented Arizona State from winning this thing. UCLA's got to have some confidence.
Oh, absolutely. And their point guard, Jordan Canada, and their big post players. I mean, they have good size all around. They have the guard size, and then they have the inside presence. They're talented all around.
Stanford is the team that has always won this thing until last year. They always kind of win this thing, but they're very talented again. Erica McCall, Lily Thompson, and they got a great coach. What do you think about Stanford?
I mean, I think that they aren't the most talented team, but of course they have a great coach. She knows how to work their players and put their players in the positions to be successful. And I think they just listen. They have a great game plan. They go in and they execute. No questions asked. They execute and they get the job done.
Can anybody outside the top 4 win this event?
Oh, our Colorado Buffaloes are going to go up there. We're going to get it. We're going to be the dark horse and upset some people.
Now, you're obviously biased. I understand that, but taking out the bias there. Is there anybody outside that you feel like could do this? I'll say I like Washington, and I know you guys have to face Washington in the first round, but just the fact that they are home, and this is probably the best team Washington's had in a number of years. They have Kelsey Plum. They can rebound. I kind of like Washington as maybe a dark horse in this tournament.
Oh, absolutely. If we don't get Washington on Thursday, I think Washington definitely could take it all the way. One, they only play with about 5 or 7 players on their roster, but those 5 to 7 players are solid. They don't get tired. They play that sharp 2-3 zone. Kelsey Plum could heat up at any second, and so if no one stops her early on, then she will definitely light it up and make sure that Washington leads the way.
I'm not sure beyond that if I like anybody else. I mean, I would have said Oregon a couple weeks ago, but they lose Jillian Aline to the ACL. That one's tough. So I'm kind of thinking that it'll come out of that top 5 and then CU, right? We'll throw CU in there. The champion comes out of that 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Or Cal. I kind of like Cal's freshman, Christine Anigwe. I mean, she, as we saw, against us, she scored about 25 in the first quarter. I mean, she's a big presence. So if no one can stop her, I don't think there's any post player that's as dominant as her in the Pac-12. I think she could maybe get some things going for Cal.
Well, it should be fun to watch that Pac-12 tournament. And last thing, Ariana, I want to wrap up with you. You had to sit out this year, but you get to play next year. First off, tell us what the experience was like this year, being in Boulder and just kind of being a part of this team and going through practices.
I mean, outside basketball, it's been great. I love Boulder. I love the outdoors. I love the little food places, the people here. But, I mean, on the court, it's definitely been difficult. Practice has been great. I love being with my team. But having to just sit back and watch them play and not being able to go to war with my team is definitely something that I had to battle with.
And how excited are you to be a part of this tournament next year? You get to play next year. Are you excited?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm pumped. I've been sitting back, watching how different teams, act and some things that they like to do, their games. So I'm excited to come and play next year.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being with us this week, and good luck to the Buffs this week.
All right. Go Buffs.